if you are jumping on, I apologize for us being 20 minutes late. We started the video, and then Facebook told us that there was a server error, it was overloaded, and we couldn't do our video. So we are a little behind the game, but I think we're good. Okay, so it's showing live on my side. Megan's going to start a watch party, so if you're joining from a watch party, let us know where you're coming from. This is very informal, very relaxed, very laid back. We want y'all to have the opportunity to ask questions that you may have about organizing or interior design. And Megan is I call it a wizard, like she's a magician when it comes to talking about how interior design can link up and really affect your well-being and how those effects in your home play into it. And so we're going to go ahead and dive on in. Y'all definitely leave y'all's comments in the comment box, and we will jump on and answer those as they come through. I see Lola's on. Hi, Lola. I think Cindy was going to jump on. Don't see her yet, but Natasha, hi. I'm so excited to see people jumping on. So, okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump in. Again, leave your comments in the comment box so that we can get those answered. Okay, so Megan, my first question for you is, who the heck are you? And I need 3 non-business fun facts. Whatever that looks like. Come on and answer those as they come through.
Sorry, I'm having technical problems. Okay, we're good. Okay, I'm good. Okay. I had to get the watch party all started and everything. But okay, so I'm Megan Peterson, and I'm the owner and interior designer at Element Design Build. We started our business in November of 2019, so we're very new and in the early stages of our business. 3 fun facts about me is I have a twin, which a lot of people are like, yeah.
Okay. That's
I actually had John with Edward Jones Financial, and he messaged me earlier today and was like, okay, either like you have someone who looks just like you or I'm confused. And I was like, oh, that's my twin.
Nice.
It happens all the time. So that's a really fun fact, and we love to like get people like confused, or they'll see us out and about and be like, you look the same but different kind of thing.
That's awesome. I did not realize that at all.
Yeah, it's a fun little fact.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that if I could choose any other profession in the world, it would be a health coach or a life coach or something like that, or blending of like interior design and health and wellness. Me and my husband both love working out so much, and we've been on that journey for about 6 years, just listening to different health professionals and learning everything on our own. So that's one thing that if I could do something else in another life, it would probably be that. And then I have a very strong desire to write a book, which is a very fun fact. I'm like, I really want to write a book, and I don't know why, because I'm horrible at writing, but it just sounds so fun.
That's pretty cool, though. At least you have your goals and ambitions.
Yes, so, definitely.
Okay, no, I love those fun facts. I had no idea about the twin, and that's fascinating to me. So, again, if you're just now jumping on, I'm seeing that we've got a couple more people than what we had a second ago. If you're jumping on and have questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I see y'all are already chatting it up in there. So, okay, so my next question is, how did you get here? Like, I kind of went back through Facebook archives, and I realized, like, interior design has kind of been your jam for a while. So, like, how did you know that that was your thing? How did you get here? What does that look like?
So this is kind of a funny story. I actually, when I was a kid, I used to rearrange my room all the time, like constantly. Like, I was never satisfied with the way it looked and always wanted to change it up. And I think at that point, I didn't know interior design was a profession, but I don't know. I just knew I wanted to do it. And then a friend of mine who was a grade older than me went to school for interior design at Tech. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually like do that for a living. What? That's so freaking cool. So I followed her steps a little bit and decided that I was going to do that. And a fun little fact, I was actually very nervous to do interior design because you have to like have a certain level when you graduate, and I guess on your SAT scores, I don't remember exactly how it went, but I was nervous that I wouldn't get in, but I got in, and surprisingly, interior design and that whole program is a little bit more than you would think it would be. And it's hard. A lot of people drop out in the first year, but
Oh, wow.
I actually enjoyed the technical side more than I did like the pretty side, the aesthetic side, and learning more about like design psychology and just all the codes and the regulations and, like I said, the technical side. I actually loved that a little bit more than the creative side. Um, so that's really interesting that now that's kind of where we are in our business today, is more focusing on like science-backed things, more technical things. We have a lot of clients call us for, can you help me hang my artwork and things like that? But that's not so much what we do. And we're trying to more incorporate designing for like the five senses. We want to create a space that is more than just aesthetics for people.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I definitely, that's funny that you say like the creative side, because I get into the same, I love the challenge of organizing, but then there's times whenever I just like the regulation and the system and the process more than the creating it. And so I get that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go in some more, because you mentioned kind of designing for the five senses. Tell us more, like quick recap of kind of the services you do and what that looks like.
Yes. So we have a few different services. We of course have the design build aspect of it, which is where we're designing for people and then we can actually construct it for you as well. And we kind of call ourselves general contractors, but that's a little bit, general contracting is a little bit of a kind of a misused term, I feel like. And we're more of like a project manager. So we don't do most of the building. And I feel like when people hire a general contractor, they think the general contractor does all the building themselves. But in reality, we hire subcontractors to do most of that work for us. We will do some of it, like demolition, trim work, things like that. But we're more of like project managers. So we're going to make sure that your project is being built to exactly how we're designing it. And I gave you this analogy the other day, is that interior design and like design build is like a roadmap. We're going to ask you where you want to be, and then we create that map to get you to where you want to be. So that's one of our services, is the design build. We can also do full service interior design. And then we do living in place or aging in place. Those terms are kind of used interchangeably. And then healthy home interior design. And I think that's pretty much it. I have my notes over here just to make sure. We have so many that I'm like, oh. But yeah, those are our main ones.
Okay, so you mentioned aging in place. I saw that on Facebook. What is aging in place? What does that look like?
Yes. So it's basically designing the space so that a person who either has disabilities or chronic diseases, or, an elderly person who wants to stay in their home a little bit longer rather than moving into the nursing home, it's making their space suitable to live safely and comfortably in that space. So that's doing things such as like installing grab bars, maybe creating, if they have uneven surfaces in their home, making that one level instead of having steps. So the biggest ones that we see with that service is kitchen design and bathroom design. So making the kitchen to where maybe if that person's in a wheelchair, they're able to get under the sink without any issues. They can open ovens without issues. Because I come from a background of commercial interior design, and we have to understand a lot of ADA codes.
Yep.
So those can be easily applied into a residential space so that people can safely live in their homes, whether, again, if they have chronic diseases or if they're elderly, or if they have disabilities.
Okay. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, don't forget, everybody that's watching, y'all are more than welcome to like throw a question in the comment box. You're gonna get a raw, unfiltered answer. It's not going to be scripted. It's not going to be thought about. So if you have questions, like, now is your chance to do it. Yes. Okay, so dive in with me on like how interior design, we talked about it a little bit the other day, but how interior design can either help or hinder your physical well-being, and I guess assumedly mental well-being, emotional well-being, the works.
Yes, definitely. So we can start at kind of the physical well-being. A lot of the way that homes are built now and the way that they used to be, they typically they're used with building products that are harmful. They contain chemicals. They can make us sick. We actually have a lot of chemicals such as formaldehyde, which can give you cancer or allergies. So we see a lot of chronic issues actually come up with building materials, which is a little bit scary. So that's in the physical sense. So we like to help people and suggest alternative methods and alternative building products to mitigate those issues. And then as far as the mental aspects of things, things such as color therapy. So, a lot of people don't know how to put colors together, and that's where an interior designer can really help you, because that's things that we've studied in school. I mean, design psychology is a huge part in what an interior designer learns in her education. And that's probably one of my favorite things as well. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think. Psychologically, so it's incorporating things such as light. Artificial lighting is not very good for our bodies, sadly. It can disrupt your sleep. It can give you mental and emotional problems. It can cause depression. So it's really interesting that a lot of the things that are in our home are working against us rather than for us. And an interior designer can help you design in a way that can help you instead of hurt you, if that makes sense.
Yes. No, and I get it from the opposite side of seeing clients who we, organize, and they see the transition and they literally say it feels better, it feels different, it feels lighter. And so all of those things do come into play, and they do affect you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And actually, I had a thought last night, and I was like, I've kind of design and organization play a huge role together, I feel like, because one of the things is decluttering. For interior design, you want things to be clean, put away, and if you declutter your space, you declutter your mind. So that's a good example of a psychological effect that I think people can relate to, is that, as clutter is a big thing, because once you do have a cluttered home, it's really hard to think, it's hard to be productive, it's hard to just, let go and let your intuitive self be intuitive, basically. And once you clear that clutter, you really do clear your mind. And I've found that personally to be very true. And I think that you've seen that happen with your clients as well, especially as a home organizer.
It is kind of scary how much they can relate. You have your physical piece and then your mental piece, but even coming down to what you're mentioning on depression and health aspects, even crossing over towards how clutter and how organization can affect you in your marriages, your kids, your relationship with your kids. It's fascinating to see you go into a client's home and work through a project, and suddenly, you have a client calling you saying, "Oh my gosh, I think you saved my marriage." And I'm like,
wow.
What? That's crazy. But, it does have a big influence and a big impact. So that's
so awesome.
Agree. So
that's awesome. And I feel like, interior designers kind of can have that same effect. Sometimes we play the mediator between husband and wife, which is kind of nice. If you're remodeling your home and husband's over here and wife's over here and they disagree, well, an interior designer can give you a professional opinion that's somewhere in the middle, and kind of look at it from both aspects and probably prescribe a solution that'll work for both of you guys. So, I can definitely see how both of us can help save marriages and save lives. And
yeah, sometimes that third person mediator, unbiased party is definitely needed.
Yes.
So okay, so do you have any recommendations or tips, or what would it look like, I guess, for ways that we could make our home more eco-friendly? I'm going to totally be honest. I live in an RV. It's not efficient at all. It's not eco-friendly at all. I have blackout curtains that are up year-round. So tell me what I could do to be a little more eco-friendly.
Yes. So I first want to start by saying eco-friendly and healthy homes are a little bit different.
Okay.
Healthy homes, they pertain more of the person, whereas eco homes and eco-friendly homes pertain more of your environment, if that makes sense. Yes. But what's interesting and I think is cool is, for me, I would rather work on myself than the environment. Not to say that I don't love the environment and I love to help our planet, but I would rather start there. But what's really cool is that, usually when we help ourselves, we can help the planet too. So that's the first kind of there's a distinction there. So it's like eco-friendly and healthy homes are really two different things, but healthy homes can really play a part into eco-friendly homes as well. But some eco-friendly tips that you can do is installing like low flow faucets on your shower head and on your sinks. Those make the water come out a little bit slower, so you're not using as much water. So in the long run, you're going to conserve some water there. You can also install, like for you could probably install some solar panels on top of the roof of your RV, which would be amazing.
I thought about that, but it's
right. That's so cool. And they cost a little bit, but in the long run, you'll see that, you're saving energy on your bill. But also there's a lot of tax benefits to installing solar panels. So that's a really cool thing as well. And then let's see. Oh, another tip is I'm looking at my little list here, just make sure I don't forget something. So some people have really poor insulation in their home, and so their energy bills are skyrocketed, especially if they're with LP&L. So you can change the sorry, LP&L.
That was
great. So one tip is that you can improve the insulation in your home, which is going to help so much. And like some people don't have like attic insulation or good attic insulation, and that's a big thing. I mean, if anything, if you can change the insulation in your attic, you'll be awesome. You can also look at installing like a new AC unit that's a little bit more energy efficient. And then when selecting appliances, get energy efficient appliances. So it's easy to do, and it usually doesn't cost that much more to be eco-friendly.
Okay. Those are good things. I don't know enough about it, honestly. I feel like that's a very adult conversation to have. And so it's one of those things I need to pay attention to, but honestly, at this point in my life, I have not. And so I think like that, I appreciate that. That helps me out a lot.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Okay, let me look at my questions real fast. Okay, so this one came up earlier. I didn't tell you about this one, but I know we have a lot. We did a whole video on office well-being, some organization, some design tips, especially because we have so many people transitioning to a work from home solution right now. I was wondering if you had any tips for kids. I know we have so many kids that it looks like they're going to be doing school virtually from home, at least for the next 30 days, possibly longer. I know all of those tips probably that we talked about before probably just transfer over to them, but do you have any more specific to little people that are struggling through this time and need that extra piece of well-being, I guess?
Yeah, so a lot of those tips do transfer over, but they all will be a little bit different. For children, like in the other video, I mentioned that blue was a great color for office spaces for adults because it promotes a sense of calmness. But for kids, blue is good, but they may be better, to have a color of red. So just, they're going to have a different color psychology than an adult would. Yeah, and I've actually been thinking, I'm like, maybe I should do a kids one too, because a lot of these parents are like, okay, how can I help my children?
Yeah.
And coming from the commercial design world, I've actually done a lot of different kids and schools, like spec furniture for those places. So I actually have a little bit of knowledge there, and seeing how the schools do it, especially innovative schools. One of the biggest things is getting seating that it allows a child to move around and be mobile, because they can, kids like to wiggle. I like to wiggle, it's like, and so if you can find some chairs that allow them to kind of move and to fidget, that'll be awesome for them.
And that seems like such a small transition, but it also could be like one of the most impactful too. So
that's a huge difference. Yes.
I'm going to jump over to the comments real fast. So let me see if I can get this on screen. It says, how do you alter your focus from your own preferences to those of clients?
Yes. So for us, I'm the type of designer who I want to know your end goal. So, for example, like, do you want to improve sleep? Do you want to improve stress? Do you want to decrease anxiety and depression? And so I come from the aspect of what's your end goal. At the end of the day, your style is your style, and I can help you with that. But those are kind of things that I'd be more of a consultant on rather than telling you how to do something. I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess so for me, it's not so much of a style that I'm going towards. It's more of design implementations to get you to a behavioral kind of goal, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but feel free to ask more questions on that.
Yeah, that's fine. So I guess one of my questions, like as a follow-up to that is, and I see this in myself when I'm organizing, and especially if we're doing like a full reset. So we're going in and doing the declutter, we're sorting, we're organizing. They want brand new bins. They want it to look like it came out of Home and Garden magazine. Do you ever have a hard time turning off your style to fit their style?
No, not at all. Especially if you show me a Pinterest page, or if I can see your existing home and you're like, I love it, but I don't love this, but usually visuals for me are like a great key, and it's like, okay, I already get it. I know what you like, Now sometimes I do find that clients will give me different visuals, and sometimes I don't exactly relate. So then I'll dive a little bit deeper and say, okay, what exactly about this photo do you like? Because the styles might change between those pictures. That actually helps or happens a lot. A lot of people will provide me photos and Pinterest pages, and I'm like, okay, there's really not a huge correlation here. So then we kind of have to dig in deeper and like, what exactly do you like about this photo? And then that's where an interior designer can help kind of bring the different things that you like about each thing together and make it flow.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, finding and designing someone's style is not a hard thing. I've never struggled with that because, I mean, if you show me something visually, I can easily help you. I mean, your style is your style, and it's a reflection of you. And as long as you give me a visual and tell me what you want, then, I mean, that's what you're going to get. So, yeah.
What if you have someone that has no idea what they want? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, those are a little bit harder. I mean, most
the reason I ask is people are always like, they'll send me like 20 pictures of a pantry, and I'm like, there is nothing that matches in these 20 pictures. Yes. And so you kind of have to, dig deep. And that, I'm sure, a pantry and bins is 1,000 times easier than paint and furniture and decor. Like, it's a much more exclusive process for you. So what is that? How do you work through that normally?
Well, it's actually the same way that you do. And for you, if someone showed me, 7 different pictures of organization and none of them related, to me, I would be like, I don't understand that. But if someone does that on the design side and says, here's 7 different pictures and none of them relate, and like you said, it's like, we'll dive deeper in and then figure out what exactly about those photos are you drawn to. And then either incorporate, those together, or, maybe figure out a different solution and a different route that works for them. That's a tough one because, I mean, there are clients out there who are very, they just don't know what they want at all. They're, just lost. They have no idea what they want. That's hard. Sometimes it's just a matter of walking them through it, maybe taking them to different spaces so they can see and feel those on their own. Or just diving deeper and like, what are you missing from your life right now? Like, do you feel, and that's kind of where we want to come in on the psychological part of things and say, are you feeling stress and anxiety in your home? And is that why you don't have clarity in what you want? And that could be a huge part of it. And so we want to help them kind of clear the mud a little bit. And that's really the kind of design that I love to do, is just diving deeper and finding those psychological needs more than just the aesthetic needs for a person.
I love that. That's a perfect answer. That was great. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any comments. What would be your recommendations for renters? People that rent their homes, they can't put up solar panels. What does that look like?
I guess it depends on, are y'all looking, I don't know who asked that question, but.
Natasha.
Oh, Natasha. Okay. So, well, Natasha, it depends on if you're looking to make, like, are you trying to have a sustainable home? Is that the goal that you're trying to make? Or are you trying to do it more for yourself? Because solar panels will relate more to the environment, and that's going to be better for them, but also your bill, but, mostly the environment. Or are you looking for more benefits for yourself, I guess? And I don't know. I can't really see the comments. You'll have to tell me.
Okay. I think that was it for questions. If I missed them all, I'm sorry. Just copy and paste it and make me do it again. Sorry. We're really struggling on the technological side, so
We are.
Okay. So this is a question for me personally. I am in an RV. It's part of my organizing story. How do you manipulate, or maybe manipulate's not the right word, maybe utilize better set structures? I mean, your stove, your oven, your refrigerator, your bathroom, your bed, all of those things are set. The only thing that really you could change in an RV is furniture pieces, and even those are kind of iffy at most.
Yes.
I have gone totally rogue at times, where I move away from the desk and I just set up a plastic table in the living room, which is totally ghetto and it's ugly and it's not pretty, but it's more functional for me. And so what would be, do you have any suggestions for a situation like this where we're in a set structure, not a lot of opportunity for change?
I think for a set structure, color's going to be a huge thing for you. And you mentioned having blackout curtains. I would maybe, instead of having, or keep your blackout curtains, but maybe do a double rod and put a sheer curtain on the back. So that way during the day, you can still have those open and let the natural light in. That'll be a big thing. And then I see your cabinets are a brown color. So maybe painting those white. That'll make
so ugly.
Right. Well,
I hate them. They're so ugly.
It would definitely change your space so much if you just painted those white. It would be so much brighter in there, and I think you'll be happier to be in there because you'll have a lot of natural light in there. Yeah. So that's a suggestion. Is just because I've seen so many fun RV renovations. I love it. I'm that's one thing that I'm I kind of want to do in the future is just renovate an RV and make it new again. But you can always look at those sorts of options, painting what you can, or maybe putting a fun wallpaper somewhere, just as, fun, just something fun to look at. And also incorporating some plants and some greenery is huge, huge, huge. I mean, that's always such a great design aesthetic, is to have a natural plant in your space. I mean, it's going to provide you health benefits, but it's also something really pretty to look at. And our eyes love to look at green. And we're naturally drawn to nature. So letting nature inside of your home as much as you can is going to be highly beneficial mentally, physically. That's a huge thing.
You're going to create a monster by telling me this, because I'm I'm bored. I've got all this extra time on my hands. I'm just going to paint my whole RV.
And buy a bunch of plants.
I don't have a green thumb, so I don't know how effective that would be, but
yeah,
maybe try it.
I don't either, and but I've actually had a plant for almost a year. I'm really proud of myself. I'm yes. So I think I'm ready to expand my wings, but there's certain plants that are better for indoor environments than others. So you just kind of have to do your research and know which one to buy.
That makes sense too, though.
Yes.
Okay.
But you really that's the number one easiest tip I can give someone if they're wanting to increase their mental and physical benefits in their space, is just get a plant baby. I think you'll find so much happiness just by doing that. It's pretty amazing. And just having, something to take care of every day that's not your dog, which we love our animals, of course, but it's just, I don't know, it's cool, and it's cool to watch it grow, and being connected with nature is just, it's fun, and it's what humans are meant to do. And we've kind of separated ourselves from that, in our stark environments and, on just our walls and ceilings and floors. It's okay, where's the nature in here,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Okay, so Natasha asked, she said, this goes back to the renter question. Let's go with self. So I guess we're talking about ways to help yourself.
Yes. Okay. Well, plants, do that. one plant.
Okay.
At least start there. The other thing is to let natural light in as much as possible. I actually tell people to get rid of blinds and get rid of shutters. I don't like them. I'm just gonna put that out there. I hate them. I think they're so horrendous. But and
Just
do
from
kind
a
of
like aesthetic standpoint.
yeah, and light. Like they just they don't let a lot of light in, unless you fully open that window up. I mean, you're really not allowing a lot of light in. But yeah, also an aesthetics standpoint too. I'd rather go with the sheer curtain and a blackout curtain above that. That way you can open them up. You have a lot of flexibility and can let a lot of light in. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, I would say cleaning your air filter will be a big thing to reduce allergies. A lot of people don't do that. And if you live in a rental, that's very easy to do. And then the other thing, you could incorporate different light bulbs. So they actually have light bulbs that will go from like a cooler color to a warmer color. And that's going to be so good for sleep. Oh my gosh. So that helps tune your body's circadian alarm clock, which is your body's natural, way of telling you when to wake up, when to go to bed. And those are so easy. I mean, they have light bulbs at Home Depot that you can just put into your ceiling and it'll change colors. You might have to install a dimmer switch if you do that. So that way, whenever you brighten it up, it's kind of at that cooler light. And then whenever you dim it down, it's at the warmer light for when you're getting ready to go to bed. And it just creates a more intimate feeling in that space.
Okay. Let me see if I can make this comment visible. I have a small house. What do you think about using space between the studs?
I think that's a great idea.
Is it?
Yes, definitely. Yes. It does not hurt at all. Yeah.
I feel like a lot more people are doing that, like as they build new houses or if they renovate, they're doing it like in laundry rooms and bathrooms because you can just get like a little bit extra shelf space, in those areas that are normally kind of tight.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
And, those are usually kind of like wasted space, So if you can incorporate some shelves in there between the studs or maybe put in a little cabinet, anything like that. I mean, you're just using space that, it's going to reduce your square footage of your home if you plan it correctly. That's the other thing. I'm like, a lot of these people, like, a designer can really help you maximize the space. And if you're looking to build a new home or looking to renovate, if you hire a designer and say you're low on storage in your existing home, I mean, we can help you plan for storage, more storage. I mean, whatever you need in your home can be done. You just have to have someone that can creatively think that for you and help you through those issues. But I see a lot of these newer homes where the floor plan, maybe doesn't make sense, or there's just a lot of wasted space, and we can reduce the size of the footprint of the home without having to lose the function and the form and the things that we need in our house. So I think that's really interesting. That's where an interior designer can really help someone out.
I agree. It's really frustrating for me whenever clients are struggling with space and it's like, we had done this one thing differently or put this one door 6 inches farther to the left or the right, or like whatever that little one thing is. If we had just done this one thing, it would have made all the difference in the world.
Yes, so. Exactly. I think that's one of the biggest values that being a design build team that we have is that we're working together for you, and we work from concept to completion. Anything that you want and to incorporate in your space, we're going to work through those details before we even build it. And some builders are, and I guess some home remodelers are good at design, but they're not great at design. So, I mean, you really get a 2-for-1 with our company, and that's really why we did this. And we hated seeing people with an outcome that they weren't happy with, after spending all this money. So if you just spend a little bit of extra money to hire the designer with your contractor, I think you'll be so much happier in the long run. And we strive for honesty and integrity and quality. I mean, that's some of our core values,
So you mentioned design and contractor. So tell me, because technically you and Adam are husband and wife team. So tell me kind of like his side of the operation and what he does, and how those two come together to form Element Design Build. What does that look like?
Definitely. So we always start with an in-home consultation where him and I go together, and we talk with the client about their goals and their needs. And that way he already knows at the forefront kind of what needs to be done from the construction standpoint. And then after that, once a client signs off on the contract, we'll start in the designing phase. And as we're designing, we're talking about what are your needs, and then we're making sure we're staying within your budget. That's so important because typically in a traditional method, you would hire an interior designer or an architect first, separate contracts, and then it would go to a construction, a contractor. And typically you would have to go back and redesign because that was overpriced. So when we're working together, we can work and create budgets for you more effectively. So I'll work with clients one-on-one through the design phase, but also Adam and I behind the scenes are talking about, is this going to fit the budget? And we're kind of doing a discovery of cost at that point. And then once we have the design and we have a preliminary number, we'll move on and then get some firm pricing. And then Adam will do the project management side of everything. So he hires the subcontractors, make sure that the job's going the way it's supposed to be, and everything's being built the way that it was designed and intended to be. So hope that makes sense.
It does. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all have, I don't know what the right word is, like a value proposition in regards to change orders. What does that look like as y'all's one of y'all's company's values?
Yes. So we really, really, really try to eliminate having change orders. I mean, if you have a change order with us, it's because it was seriously an unforeseen thing. It's something that we couldn't see when we were at the site, and we didn't know it was there until we demoed, which can happen. But, when you're designing and building, you're just more aware of the site, and you're more aware of the cost of everything. So we really, our goal is to get a very, very accurate number for clients once they sign off on that construction bid. And typically, that would be almost your end all be all number, unless there's some sort of unforeseen thing that, like I said, whenever we're doing demolition, we uncover something that the eye couldn't see at that time.
Yeah. Okay. Let me make sure we don't have any questions. Okay, I asked those. What are some your three, and we've kind of talked about these in different forms, I guess, but if we could just sum it up real easily, what are three small actionable tips that we could do right now to make a healthier home? I know plants is a huge one.
Plants, letting light in, and then even changing out your light bulbs. Those could be really big things. And then cleaning your air filter, those will be great. Really, really great. And I think those are all very, very easy to implement, really.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is a tough question, but I feel like business owner to business owner, you have to be prepared to answer this question. And I think anybody that has been watching for however long we've been live can point blank pick out differences. But what sets you apart from other interior designers? I know that y'all are a design and build company, but what does that look like? How do you set yourself apart from Joe Blow off the street who wants to come decorate your house or design your house? What does that look like?
So I think the biggest thing is designing, like I said, for the five senses. We want to reach a different level. Kind of one way to look at it is we want to not just do the 3D experience, but reach your 4D experience. And if you've ever been to like a 5-star restaurant or a 5-star hotel, you probably remember that experience. And there's a reason for that. Typically when they're designing places like that, they're trying to appeal to all five senses, your smell, your taste, looks, and not every designer, but a lot of designers just focus on aesthetics. And that's fine. And that's for some people, but for us, we want to connect to that, physical and emotional kind of feeling that you get when you walk into a well-designed space. So I think that's probably one of the biggest things, not only that we're a design build company, but we really want to reach a certain level of designing a space for you.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. I think so. Unless anybody has some like crazy questions, I think that's pretty much all I had. I know we kind of went off script a little bit there, but do you have any questions for me? I do want to give everybody the opportunity to get in touch with Megan. So tell us how, if they're looking for maybe even the easy actionable tips that they need to take, all the way to we want to do a complete remodel. Like, how do they get in touch with you? What does that look like? You kind of described the whole consult through completion process, but how can they get in touch with you to start that process?
Yes. So you can shoot us an email. My email is megan@buildelement.com, and our website is currently under construction. So that'll be up here in about a few weeks, I'm thinking. But so unfortunately, I can't send y'all to the website, but you can also reach out to us on Facebook at any time. We're always available. We're pretty easygoing. And then let's see, what else? I think that's it. We're also coming out with some e-design services right now, because I know a lot of people are kind of like, come into the home, and I totally get it, So we're coming out with some e-design, and we'll be releasing that shortly. But if you want us to send you an email when that comes out, just shoot me a message on Facebook, and we'll get you on our email list, so that way you can be up to date with all the current changes and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so Facebook website is down, but I can add the link once it's up, just at the end of this video. And then you mentioned your email, but her name is Meagan.
Yes.
I would spell it the five-letter Megan, I guess. So,
yes.
So yeah, if nobody has any more questions, I know we didn't really talk a lot about organizing, but I do feel like we could do a whole other video on organizing.
Oh yeah,
they're so closely related, but. Kind of want to feel for like your vibe, what you do, how you do it. So they help me out a lot.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. It's
You're
so
welcome.
awesome.
You are so welcome.
And I think that both of us can really help people, to a certain level, and just more than, like we both kind of say, is more than just what you see, more than what the eye can see. I mean, organizing has its own mental effects and benefits to it, which I think is so awesome. And it's such a huge part in interior design too. It's just decluttering.
Yeah.
So
it's good for you to hear you say that and like hear the validation. Sometimes it's hard to find that. So
yes. And I don't want to do that. Like, if someone's like, declutter for me, I'm like, no, I'm gonna give you Cabri's number and you can call her. So
that's fair.
But it
totally
is such a huge part,
So Lola said, I have enjoyed hearing your perspective, opposite side of what I do, and love the way you work. No, I do too. She has a very unique. That's why that question is so hard about like, what sets you apart, because I feel like it's not even a fair question. A lot of people who don't put as much, I don't know, like you just have a lot of sense towards the well-being, and it's more than just colors and, fabrics. It's more than that.
But I definitely think like people like Lola, she is so talented when it comes to aesthetics. I mean, far beyond anything that I can do. For me, it's more about the emotional connection and the physical connection with interiors. And for her, I mean, she is so good at just the physical aspect and the aesthetics part that, I mean, it's amazing. And there's always somebody for everybody. Not every designer is going to be for every person, just like not every home organizer is going to be for every person. So, our niche is going to be in that kind of well-being aspect and the healthy home aspect. And, Lola is more aesthetics, so I don't mind recommending clients if they're not a good suit for us and they want the aesthetics part of things. That's fine. I'm not gonna try to make my mold fit yours and, things like that. I mean, like I said, not everybody's for everybody, and, we can only help someone so much, but
it takes a village. It takes all kinds of
it does. Yes, definitely.
So, okay, well, y'all do not forget, I will post their Facebook page in the comments so that y'all can all go like and follow them. If you have any more questions, leave them. I'll let Megan pop in and answer them in the comments and whatnot. But y'all stay tuned. I'm bored at home, y'all. I can't work with clients right now, and so we're going to be doing more of these Q&A Facebook Lives. They're my friends. They're my people that I know and trust and love, my referral partners. It helps me have a face-to-face conversation that's not with a dog. And so, like, y'all are going to be seeing a lot more of these Q&As coming forth. And there's all these people that will help you, too. So y'all stay tuned and let us know if you have any more questions. And we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.